Hi, and welcome to Stitch Party of One. This is my third Flosstube, and I just want to set up an apology in advance. There will be a lot of sniffing involved because spring has sprung and the plants are pollinating, and when they're not pollinating, it's raining and mold and mildew and pollen abound. So Darlene is miserable. Even flushing her sinus passages will not ease the torture. So there will be a lot of sniffing. Can't help it. Do my best. There we go. um, I have not done a lot of stitching. I did have my not annual, my monthly stitch night last night with the Sterling Stitchers. And I haven't seen these ladies for 3 months because we kept getting canceled due to the weather. And if the school cancels, we cancel. And it snowed twice, and I think we had the big winds the other time. So we had a lot of catching up to do. So I did do about an inch of stitching on my heels on the dampy sod, but I also munched and talked a lot. Um, 6 or 7 ladies and 3 months between us. We haven't seen each other since December, so I'm sure you all understand. So I have no finishes either because been catching up on shows and stuff with my husband and trying to catch up with my fan fiction, which is rapidly advancing ahead of me because I load a bunch on, and then by the time I'm finished with it all, the prolific writers have flooded the internet with more. So I've just been taking a little break this week. No finishes, no stitching, but still having fun. Anyhow, since that, I don't have any, and I'm backing up here, and I also don't have any purchases. I have been stitching from stash, though I have been perusing, and I'm thinking it's time I had some happy mail. So I have seen a couple things that I looked at before, like on 1-2-3 Stitch, that are now on clearance. So maybe I put them into my wish list and I'll peruse them again. I basically have to sit and debate whether I'd actually do them or not because I have so much. I've got 3 boxes full of charts and kits that I have no intention of ever stitching, and I'm sure we're all in the same boat there. And I also am kind of deficient in getting it up for sale or a list or anything like that. So procrastination for the win or loss. So I thought I would show you the stitch pieces that I have framed, which don't panic. I only have like 11, and some of them I haven't stitched myself, but these are the only things I have framed and ready to hang up on the wall other than the 2 finishes I showed you last week. And I thought you all might like to see them. And since there are so little, I didn't think you'd mind. I'll try to keep this as short as I can because I don't like to drone on too long. So, without further ado, this is my first piece. It's called the Nght Watchman. Yep. This is a purchase shop demo from the Scarlet Thread in Fairfax. It's on 28 count, I believe, even weave, I don't know what kind. It's from the Stoney Creek Treat Yourself leaflet number 27. And I thought I had to, it was the spookiest scarecrow I'd ever seen to date. And I just fell in love with it. As you can see, the frame has holes and ragged edges, and I have to be very careful when I handle it because it has a tendency to put splinters on. It's very roughly done. Like I said, it was a shop demo. So the next piece I have 3 pieces that I made for my husband coming up. This is the first one I did for him. I gotta say, my husband is a real Looney Tunes fan. Now, I love Looney Tunes. I grew up watching the cartoons in my childhood all the time. And so, but he really loves them. I mean, we have cups and pot holders and, you know, he really loves them. So I did up one of his favorites. This is from a Looney Tunes leaflet. I'm not sure which one, but it's Wile E. Coyote, Genius at Work. And he liked it so much that a couple of years later, I figured I would make a mate to it. And who better to mate it with than the Roadrunner? Now this one, all I had was the head, so I just extended the neck and added the rest. But this sits in a proud place of honor in his study. So they're both done on yellow 14 count Aida, or Ada, whichever way you pronounce it. And both of them were framed at the hang-up. Also framed at the hang-up was this Army sampler. Now this Army sampler is a Candamar kit. It's 3/1 on white 14 count Aida. Oops, sorry for the glare. And I have fond memories of working on this because it was a surprise. And his mother had kept his dog tags, which I conveniently covered here, because back then they used the SSN. And his medals and stuff. I gotta say, this piece got the best response that I've ever had, and the saddest I've ever had to any piece I've made. My brother-in-law was an Army Ranger in Vietnam, and he dealt with troubles from Agent Orange and stuff. And when he saw this, I brought it home. Once I got it framed, I brought it home to show the folks what I'd been working on the previous time I was visiting. And he literally cried. And it just blew me away. I mean, I felt really bad because I hadn't made a frame for him, but he just thought it was such a great work to be done and such a respectful thing. And I've got here on the dog tags, I've got my husband's name and the dates he served, and Engineer, which was his title. Next piece I have is Lizzie Kate Stitcher in Residence on 28 count natural linen. This was framed through AC Moore. The only thing I don't like about this is you can see where the crosses cross in the back. And I think if they had done it if they had backed it with a black mat, that wouldn't have shown up. But otherwise, it's a cute little thing. And I don't do a lot of Lizzie Kates, but I do have some. Also framed through AC Moore was this piece, Indian in Canoe, and this was an adaptation. This is on 28 count Wedgwood Blue Lugana. And I had a friend way back that said her favorite phrase was love many, trust few, always paddle your own canoe. And I know those words are in a song that I know, so not so much exactly, but basically that you paddle your own canoe. And I saw this was in Southwest Miniatures or Native American Miniatures booklet, and I saw that lone brave in the canoe, and I said, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. So Elizabeth, I haven't forgotten your favorite phrase. my next one up, I do not know the exact title or chart maker of this. It's My Friend Is Always There. It's on 28 count apple blossom linen, which is a real pale peachy color, real pretty. I've got a few more pieces of this in my stash. And I thought about the idea of putting JC down there, but then I thought I would have to explain that for life. So I said, well, no, I just put my own initials there. Not trying to be, not be cute. I'm doing good on time. This is Homeward at Last. This is on 32 count rustic linen, and the chart is by Sweet Nothings. And the things I liked about this chart was that the letters are obverse in the grass, which means the grass is worked out around the letters, and the phrase says, "My heart is turning home again, and there I long to be." And just for fun, on the barn here, and you can't see it unless I'm moving real close, I put a can't think of what those things are called. The directional wind thing. I know I'll think of it after I get this out, or else I'll research it. But I've got it pointing west, little arrow pointing west, and I did that 1/1. And kudos to people who stitch 1/1. Just doing that little itty bit drove me nuts. My next piece was framed by me. Not too well, but by me. This frame was given to me by some friends for my birthday, my 30th. And this is Woman in Prayer and Blessed Are the Pure in Heart collaboration. The patterns are by Sam Hawkiins. Expressions of Faith booklet, 14 count, off-white Aida. Let's see. Next up, I have Dani the Stitching Dragon by Dragon Dreams. Now, interesting story about this. Dragon Dreams released this for a contest, and you were to pick your own colors. Kudos for designers who have to pick all these colors, because there's like 30 colors in this. Some of them weren't used much, but I started to pick them. This is on 28 count. I have to look at my 28 count Lemon Peach Swirl by Silk Weavers. It's my first piece on so-called fancy material, and I didn't make the contest deadline, and this is why not. I decided to grid for the first time ever on even weave. It took me 2 weeks just to grid it, and it wasn't even well gridded. It was, dare I say it, half-ass gridded. And I messed up somewhere along the line because it's really hard to count 20 threads, then whatever. So, but that being said, I did finish it, and it's one of my favorite pieces. My hometown high school Minor Scout is a red dragon. So if I picked anything except red, my sisters would have given me a hard time. But I did look at the website after the contest had ended, and there were every color imaginable. It was just beautiful. And it says, "My stash is full of treasures. Now all I need is time." And afterwards, Dragon Dreams did release it as, as a chart with the colors already picked. But now my next piece is something that I did that's no longer framed. And right after that, I'll show you what I used the frame for the second time. But this is a piece I did a little bit of background. My mother passed away in January of 2001, and I had gotten a cat for the first time in 10 years. I've been without a cat for 10 years. I've always had cats and dogs. And unfortunately, the cat wound up with cancer of some sort. And he also passed away in 2001. So it was a really bad year for me. But I did this. Now, the cat itself is adaptation. I changed all the colors. This is from a cat named Enchilada by College Arts. And when I went to pull the threads, the cat was brown. They had all these brown colors. I'm like, it's a red tabby. It's supposed to be a red tabby. That's what it's supposed to look like. So I took a picture of Morris the cat off the cat food bag, literally, and picked the collars out for him. I Still Miss You, Baby, and this was my first. There's a lot of first in here, which is why I wanted to show it. I did my first adventure with parking and working under the threads to get to the different areas. Other than these 4 leaves, all the rest of them are hand done, no chart. I put nicknames that I had for him underneath all the big leaves, and I used Krynic for the first time in his eyes. I used yellow Krynic because he had really beautiful golden eyes. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out, and it was a labor of love. I did a lot of stitching in 2001. It was a way for me to deal, and I know we've all been there. But I took him out because it's been a long time, and it doesn't apply as much. He was a sweet one, and I do still think of him fondly, but I won a drawing online. A lady had, rescued a needlework piece, but she didn't want the piece. She just wanted the frame. It was in an octagonal frame, and she had a drawing for the piece. And I asked Cindy if she would use the frame for this. Oop, there we go. So this piece I didn't do, but it fits me perfectly. I love butterflies and I love wildflowers. As far as non-wildflowers, I'm more of a carnation girl than roses. So, but I was so tickled to win this, and it's on off-white 14 count Aida. And I found out when researching it, because it was such a beautiful phrase. I said, it sounds like it's from a song, and it was. There was a movie, and there was a song sung in the movie, and that was the title of it, Butterfly Mornings and Wildflower Afternoons. So I'm going to go back online and get the lyrics for the song, because it's a beautiful little song, and I just love this piece. I have a couple other wildflower charts that I have kept hold of down the road that I'm going to do, but until then, I've got this one. So that's it. I told you, I don't have a lot. I started a little tradition, I guess, of like-dislike, which I introduced last time, and just want to give a couple more things I like but dislike. And the first one, and this is going to put you all in a tither, is beaded scissor fobbs. They're gorgeous. I have 2 or 3 of them, and every last one of them are broken, except for one. But it has plastic beads instead of glass beads. And it's strung on some sort of high tensile stuff, but it's the only one that hasn't broken on me. And unfortunately, they always tend to break when I'm not home and having to crawl under tables at people's feet collecting the beads and trying to remember what order they were in is really frustrating. But I do have one, like I said, that hasn't broken. And I have one that was very inexpensive, and it's made with polyester cording, and it's this. And this is a drapery tassel. I got it for like $2, maybe $3. And it's been one of the best ones, but it's all done in that heavy polyester cording. But that being said, I have started to move towards what a lot of people are looking at now is more just keychains. I have a tendency to collect keychains, and I've got a lot of pretty ones that I don't display, and I thought what better way to do it than to use them as scissor fobs. So that's where I'm leaning towards, because much as I love the beads, they just don't stand up to time. I don't care how many strands of you use when you string them, or however heavy duty it is. I just haven't seen one yet that, that stays together. And other than that, my other dislike is needle threaders. I love to have one when I need one, but the flimsy ones that work the best come apart at the drop of a hat. And the heavy duty ones, if I try to use them, I always wind up breaking the eye of my needle. So I like them. I like the concept. They're very useful in a pinch, but they either fall apart or they break my needles. So thumbs up, thumbs down on needle threaders. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed seeing all my framed pieces, and hopefully I will have time to do my bin of shame. If I can't keep it under 30 minutes, I will spread it out over 2 videos, because this box right here is full. So until next time, I hope that you have a wonderful week. Mine has been very busy, and I hope you'll come back to stitch with me at Party of One and join the party. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed and who has watched my video. It really means a lot to me, and I'm glad to report that I have broken 100 on my subscribers. So I am very, very psyched about that. Of course, my husband had to pipe up, but doesn't your friend have over 5,000? And I'm like, baby steps, baby steps. Come on. I've only put out 2. I had 50 on the first one. I got 50 on the second. And she's been doing this for years. I've only done 2. I don't know how, if I can come up with enough ideas or whatever. So, but anyway, there it is. I have broke 100, and I feel so blessed to have such good friends out there. And I hope you will come back and join me for the stitch party. Have a good week. Bye.